So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain.
Hey, it's Nate with another piano tutorial. Today we're gonna do the classic Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. For a long time, this has been one of my favorite songs to play and also teach on guitar. Now recently someone requested it for this channel, and I sat down with it on piano and realized it translates really well to piano and it's really fun to play. So grab that chords and lyrics chart, I put a link down in the description, and let's just get into it. So we're gonna start out with that iconic guitar melody. The riff that starts the song sounds like this. And here's the deal. There are two ways you can think about counting this song. You can think of a faster kind of double time feel, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Or you could count it in half time from that 1, 2, 3. To learn this riff melody, it's way easier to think in double time, the faster way, but everything else in the song is actually a lot easier to learn if we think about it in the slower way. So, as I teach you this riff right now, we're gonna be thinking the fast double time way. And then once you have that riff down, we're gonna switch to thinking about it the slower way for the rest of the song. It's a little bit confusing to talk about this right off the bat, but it would be more confusing if I didn't do it this way. So we'll start with just the bare bones right hand melody and then we'll add to it. So we're thinking in 4/4 time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Gonna just take it a couple measures at a time. We're gonna be thinking in eighth notes. So instead of just thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna be thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And I'm gonna play the notes as I say the counts. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the first two measures. I played G, A, B, D, little stretch here to the fourth finger, and then E, and let that hold out for the whole measure. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1. You could also use your pinky on the D. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, and just kind of hop it, whatever feels more comfortable. In the third measure, we're still kind of holding out that E, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's G, E, D. Notice I hop to my pinky here. That's gonna make sense when we fill out the chords a little bit more in a sec. So that whole 4 measures, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Let's start filling it in a little bit. We're gonna add some left hand bass notes. So on that second measure, that's where we come in with an E. I'm just gonna use my pinky there. So that's gonna be like 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So still just holding that E all the way there until this measure. We're gonna go up to a G here. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you got it so far, we're gonna add a little bit more harmony in the right hand here. We're gonna do 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1. So when you hit this E here and you hit the E here, we're gonna just fill out the rest of an E minor chord. It's kind of an inverted E minor chord. So we're adding the G and the B to the E that we already were playing. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then now when we get to the G bass note here, we're just gonna play the full G major chord, just a root position. So that was the melody note we were playing before. That's why I used my pinky, because then we can just fill in the G and the B there when we land there. So again, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now you'll notice there's a repeat sign here, so it loops around after we've landed on da da. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in this new measure that's kind of the same as the measure we started on. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it just goes around again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. There is one difference though. Instead of just going ba da da, we're gonna add on beat 2 of that measure just an extra E. So instead of ba da da, it's gonna be ba da da da. So one more time, sort of from the beginning of that line as it's just repeated around. Ba da da da. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, cool. Let's go on to the next two lines. They're very similar. The first half is identical. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now, instead of going up to the G, we're just going to take it from this E and do da, da, da. So that's E, D, B. And then we're going to hit an A. Both hands A. We're not going to fill in any chord yet. Just do A in the right, A in the left, and that's going to be A, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then it loops around just like it did in the first two lines. 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So after you've done that version of it from the E to the A twice, we're just going to finish off with da, 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 da. It's just this last little tag here, and that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the structure there and the way that the measures kind of lead into each other gets a little confusing. Let me play it through just like that one more time, and I'm just going to do all the counting out loud. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. Spend some time with this. You might want to take a day or two to practice this and just get used to the feel and flow of that rhythm, because here is now the point where we're going to take that and have it in terms of the way we're thinking about the rhythm. So now we're going to be thinking with this slow beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to add one more layer to this to fill out some more rhythm and also some more notes in the chords to really get the color of the chords right. So in the spaces where the melody notes just kind of ring out for a little while, we're going to keep a pulse going on quarter notes. So like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, the notes I'm doing for those pulses in between stuff is a D and a G. So this fills out, that's why it's an E minor 7 chord on the chord chart. On the guitar part, it goes. And notice that these two strings, that's a D, and this is an E. So we got. No, notice that the G also had those two notes. And then, in a second, when we go to the A, it goes da, 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 da. Still is just holding that D and G. So we're gonna do that there too. That's how you really get it to sound like the Pink Floyd recording. So we've got 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Again here. 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we've got. You can just do some pulses on that G there for a measure. And after those 4 counts of G, we're going to go to the verse. We'll get there in just a sec. So you might also notice that things are sounding really smooth and kind of lush as I'm playing it. I'm holding down the sustain pedal the whole time. I'm going to be doing that throughout the song, just giving a quick little lift whenever the bass note changes, just to clear the slate so it doesn't get too muddy. I made a video all about sustain pedal lift timing if you want to check that out. So yeah, we are ready to transition into this first verse when we land on that G after the the 1, 2, 3, 4. For my version, I may actually do, when we get to this point, I might do an inversion on the G, up like this, B, D, G, just because it sounds a little bit more like the guitar voicing on the recording. I'll change to that on beat 2 though, like 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we're in the verse.
So you think you can tell?
So, here's the chord progression for the verse. Conveniently, if we're thinking in this slower pulse that we've been doing, every chord just lasts one measure. So, it starts on a C. We're gonna do an inversion on the C. So left hand's gonna do a C bass note, right hand's gonna do a G, a C, and an E, and we're just gonna be pulsing on quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna go up to a D major chord, same type of inversion here. So step up to the D here, and it's gonna be A, D, F sharp, 3, 4, down to A minor. Your thumb can actually stay right in the same place. So left hand's got an A, right hand's got A, C, E, 3, 4, down to G. So with the bass note, I'm gonna do that higher end version of G. If it's simpler for you to do the root position, that's cool too. 2, 3. Can you tell a green? Back to D, same way we were just doing it. Feel 2, 3. From a cold steel C, same way we're doing it. A smile from a veil, A minor, 2, 3. Do you think you can tell? Cool. And that's really the core of the verses. Everything we do from here on out is just kind of details and decoration. So this moment at the very end of verse 1, before we get to verse 2, that's where the drums kick in on that G. Do you think you can tell? I think just to signify it getting a little heavier here, I'm gonna start doing octaves in the left hand, just for every bass note. If you have trouble stretching an octave, no worries, you can just pick whichever single bass note sounds better on your piano. So that's gonna be, do you think you can tell? 2, 3, did they get you to trade? So C, your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees. I'm starting to do a little bit more rhythm in the left hand. Hot air for a cool breeze. I'm just kind of doing some extra hits on offbeats like 1, 2, and 3, 4. If you want help with coordinating those offbeat left-hand rhythms, I did a deep dive in this video. So, moving along. Cold comfort for change. Did you exchange a walk-on part in a war? So that's the one thing that is different about verse 2. And verse 3 does this as well. There's this little step down on your way to that last A minor, where you've got this C chord, and it's just on the last eighth note of that measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. And what you do is you step the left hand down to a B, and the right hand just kind of collapses into a root position, G major chord, G, B, D. So that's why it's G over B. The slash means the B bass note. So, did you exchange 3, 4, and 1, 2 for a lead role in a cage? I think it sounds nice to do the root position G on the very final one of the verse. It just kind of feels more like it's landing somewhere. Okay, at this point you truly know basically everything you need to know to do a really solid cover of this song. But before we wrap up, I want to show a couple really cool details that are totally optional. You'll notice in verse 2 on the chords and lyrics chart, I put some little asterisks on a few of the chords. That's where on the recording there's these cool piano decorations, sounds like stuff like that. So this is a little bit more advanced, but if you can do this and want to, you can add those in here, and I'll show you how. First time it happens is on the first C of the second verse. That's on trade. Did they get you to trade? So we're gonna, for all of these, we need to be in a root position. So we're doing this inversion on C. You're gonna hop your hand up to like C, E, G position, and you're gonna do D and G together. So your second finger and fifth finger. And then step into the third finger on E, and then resolve it down to C. So ideally the fifth, the G there just kind of holds down throughout and harmonizes any note against it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're here.
heroes for ghosts.
So it does something really similar up here on the D. This time it jumps up an octave. So we're doing the D, and if any of this is too complicated, you can totally just skip this section. So we're doing this inverted D. We're gonna jump up to a root position way up here, D, F sharp, A, and do. You can do the same thing. I think on the recording they actually do something like that. The common theme is basically you're holding down the pinky on the fifth of the chord and then like playing around with these notes here. And by the way, this trick, I call it the sus2 fill. It's using this suspended second and to kind of create a little melodic fill. I talk about that in my course, Piano Chord Breakthroughs. I go over in great detail how to incorporate that into your playing and a bunch of other tricks, so definitely check that out. So after that D, it goes around for a little bit without any of the fills, like hot ashes for trees, hot air for cool breeze, cold comfort for change. Does it here? Did you exchange a walk-on part in a war for a lead role in a cage? On this last G here, it's really cool. It does it in two different octaves. It does. So it does a faster one up here, way up here, and then it just jumps an octave down. So that's of course on a root position G, G, B, D. They do different variations at different moments in the recording. You definitely don't have to match it exactly. My guess is they were kind of improvising and being loose with it. You can totally improvise and be loose with it when you perform your own version. So next up, we've got another instrumental section, just like the way the song started. This is a guitar solo, and I'm not going to teach you how to do the guitar solos of the record on the piano. I don't think they translate particularly well. And I think the melody, it's so interesting. You don't really need a guitar solo on top of it for it to be engaging, but if you have a friend that plays guitar, or maybe you're playing this in a band, then they can solo over it. But as we hit this section, I'm just gonna give you a couple more details. Again, optional. If you like some of them, you can put them in the intro as well. Since we've been talking about doing those like fills where we're holding down the fifth finger, harmonizing, you can start adding that in a little bit, like, so on the beginning of this, I'm just gonna hit that D while I hit the A and B. Sounds nice. And then on the recording, there's this really cool synthesizer that comes in. Dun, 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 dun. It's like... So I'm gonna add that. Dun, 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 2 and 3. It basically does that inversion of D we were doing in the verse up to an inversion of E minor. B, E, G. And that rhythmically is gonna be like 1, 2, and 3, and then right after that you have to come in with da 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 2, 3 da da da. Gonna do it again here. 2. So I did one more harmony thing there. We've been doing da 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 da. I'm gonna keep my pinky up on this G and do ba ba. I'm just gonna harmonize that D with that G. Da 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 da. Getting to that A. Final thing. So on the ba da da da, on that A, I'm gonna add a harmony on that D. 2, 3, 4, and then we are in verse 3. In a minute, I'm gonna do a full run through and I'll play through verse 3. Verse 3 is just like verse 2. The asterisks for where the decorations are in slightly different places, but yeah, you can just keep it rolling. Then we have another instrumental and it goes into another kind of guitar solo section. On the Pink Floyd recording, it repeats for a long time and fades out. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense on a solo piano version. So I'm probably just gonna go like once through the instrumental at the end and then just end on a G, root position G, just so it sounds nice and final. And that's gonna be my version. Okay, cool. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm going to do a full run through now so you can see how all the different parts we've been talking about fit together in the complete version. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, click that bell so you don't miss any more videos like this that I put out, and give the video a like, and let me know in the comments what songs you want to hear next. Again, this one was a request. All right, here's my version of Wish You Were Here.
So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees?